What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about TOSHI today. Hit that like button, you guys. Subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and let's get into it. It is the 26th day of July, and here we are at about 3:06 with 8 hours, 13 minutes left in the day. Down a little bit on the day, down a little bit on the week, but isn't everything. You're still in this nice upward sloping channel with higher lows here and higher highs here. We could fall out of this channel a little bit, and I think we actually have, and it's okay if we do. I don't believe that we go below these lows at all. We're forming higher lows overall, and really we're at a better area to bounce than we are to go lower. But if we do go lower, again, it wouldn't be too extreme. I would expect that we do, if we were to go lower, let's actually just go over that real quick. Where would we go? Low to high here. I don't think we go lower, guys, actually. That's very perfect support at the 382. I don't believe that we'd go lower than that. Nice little tweezer bottom there too. Let's look at the short term stuff and see, because this day, hold on, guys, hold on. This okay. This day does look bearish, but I wonder if we look at the short term stuff, if it looks like it's going to reverse. Let's see. Looking at the 1 hour time frame here. 1 hour time frame. The MACD, actually on the MACD, it looks like it's at an area where you would expect it to bounce. Yeah, right at the zero there, you expect it to bounce. Even when we got the cross over here to the downside, we still bounced, but hopefully it bounces and sustains, doesn't cross down. Stochastics are oversold, which I don't like to see, but we're also in an area to bounce there technically. Looking at the RSI, overall you've got higher lows and higher highs, so you do look like you want to break out of this though. There's some good things going on, but right now it puts a little bearish question mark, I would say, in my head. 11 minutes left in this 1 hour time frame. Let's see if we can't come up, in the next 11 minutes. I do like where we are here. I like this formation in the price. It's kind of like a triple bottom there. I feel like TOSHI does like to find its lows. It likes to flatten out its lows where it finds its lows most of the time. Not always, but low to high here. Golden ratio support. You look productive. I want to say that you are going to hold this area and that you are moving higher. But if you do go lower, we'll get into that once we get back out to the daily time frame. We'll get into where you would go if you go lower. I'm not convinced that you will though. 1 hour, it's not giving me too much on the 1 hour. Let's look at the 4 hour time frame. 4 hour time frame here. Okay, you're in an area that I expect you to bounce, right? You've got higher lows here, higher highs there. You're definitely looking like you want to move up higher from this perspective. Overall, the RSI is definitely bearish. Overall, you do have a downtrend, right? Lower highs here and lower lows. But I feel like this section here looks a bit different than this one did or this one did, right? You're not just moving straight up and then rejecting. You're kind of coiling up, it looks like. And with that, I wouldn't be surprised if you broke out. Maybe then you get some turbulence, something like that, and then continue to rally, forming a new uptrend or something like that as the new week develops, as the final week of July develops. 4 hour RSI. If anything, I'm getting the idea that we move up, but being honest, I guess it does look bearish overall. So let's look at the stochastics here. You're also at an area to reject. The MACD, not really getting much off of that. Sure, you've crossed to the upside, but I don't know. You could move up. You could move up a little bit more and then reject the zero. So not getting a whole lot off of that. I guess if we're being honest with ourselves, the most bullish thing is that we're finding support at the 382. We're finding support here at prior areas of resistance. Resistance becomes support. The indicators are neutral, and I would even say kind of bearish. But there are some good things going on too. If we were to move lower, let's just pretend that we do move lower, okay? That wasn't what I was looking for, but that's okay. We can move lower and still be fine. Low to high. Low to high here. So if we do move lower, the area in question would be something of about 0054, 0055 to 005 itself, okay, down to the golden ratio. Just looking at this though, looking at the price, man, you're finding support here at prior resistance, at prior support. You didn't move down with a lot of volume. You moved up with above average volume. You moved down with about average volume. I'm having a hard time being bearish on this. It's being tricky right now. And then just the trajectory too. Again, I'm just going to say if you move lower, 0055 to 005 itself, that's where you'd go. You're at 3 zeros, not 00. Going down to 00. 3 zeros, 55, 3 zeros, 5. If not, and I feel like I'm going against the grain here. I'm kind of going against what the indicators are suggesting. They're just not conclusive. They might be suggesting a little bit of downside, but there's also the possibility to reverse here on a lot of those indicators. So and just looking at the price, I'm reluctant to say that we're going to go lower. All right. So I'm going to say that we find support here, but if we close a 4-hour time frame or a daily time frame below 3059, we are going to 3054 to 3005 itself, okay? That's probably going to happen. And I'll make a video if that happens. If not, I'm assuming that we hold this area of support and that we're moving higher if and when we do move higher. Regardless if we... Oh, wow. Okay. Okay, there we go. Okay. I had it wrong. Okay, so this was not drawn properly. Let me redo this. 3053 to 3048 would be the target area. 3053 to 3048. My bad. Not 3055 to 3005. 3053 to 3048. I had the fib drawn on the wrong low. I didn't see that. I'm normally better about that, but I didn't see it there. That can really mess things up. Trust me, it's that's definitely a problem sometimes, but very rarely. Looking at it here, I mean, looking at this fib, you look like you're right at the area where you'd expect to find support. I mean, it's a very productive fib, and Toshi's been respecting its fibs a lot. So I'm thinking you find support here, you continue to move up. When you do, you're going to 2013, 2018. That's your immediate next target area. Once you get above 2018, we're thinking about touching the sky. We're going all the way up to 005 to 00812. Could we go higher than that? Could we stop lower than that? Sure. But this is the target area that I have in mind. Specifically right in the center there. I think that we're going to go to 0069 or 007. Something in that like upper third of this range in between the money zone here, these two orange lines. So that's where I think we're going to go. When are we going to go there? I mean, it depends on what you mean by that, right? When? Well, we're going to start going there this week. By the end of July, we're going to start going there. When are we going to be there? Sometime in August, I would think. Sometime probably at the end of August. Toshi moves up very fast. I wouldn't be surprised if Toshi topped off before the average altcoin topped off. Does that make sense? So understand if it's like the second week of August and we're all the way up here and Bitcoin's at 140K or 160K and the perspective that we have for Bitcoin is that it's going to 180K, that doesn't mean that Toshi's going to continue to move up. Maybe it does. But I wouldn't be surprised if Toshi topped off earlier. Okay, that's all I'm trying to say. It topped off earlier last time. It topped off around the same time as everything else topped off, but still a couple weeks earlier. And then here in January, I guess it topped off later. It could top off later too. Yeah, that was Coinbase listing event. You know, might have influenced that a little bit. I'm thinking something in August, sometime in August, 0065 to 00812, specifically 0069007. That's where I think we're going to go. That's been the long-awaited prophecy that we've prophesized. Hit the like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here. I'll see you on the next one, okay? Take care of yourselves. And again, if we go lower, it's not going to be a big deal. It's just a better opportunity to buy. Don't get shaken out, okay? Even if we break out of this uptrend, we would still have a higher low overall. We'd still have productive structure overall. And Toshi, on a daily basis, is in areas where you'd expect it to bounce. And if it goes a little bit lower, even still, weekly time frame, we don't have enough history really to go off of that. Actually, let's look at the MEXC chart real quick and see if we can get some weekly readings on here. I mean, if anything, the RSI looks just like it did here where you topped off. Stochastics aren't giving us much, and the MACD, it's building a green histogram, but not really giving us much. We don't have enough data to really be conclusive on this. So I think, 1 day, 9 hours left. A good goal to have would be to come up and try and close this week as neutral as possible. So if over the next day and 9 hours or day and 8 hours now, if we can move up like 5 or 10% or more, I think that'd be nice. But I'm not going to be upset if that doesn't happen, okay? Hit the like button, subscribe. Thank you all. Take care. Bye-bye.